What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about the final update of Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3, which unvaulted the Kamehameha. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what you think of this update. So, as I already said, the Kamehameha was unvaulted today, and this is the Dragon Ball superpower, like, Mythic. It has a short animation, and then your character does a lot of damage, basically. In fights, this is something that can kill enemies incredibly quickly, but because the delay in the animation and how long it takes to get it off, the fact that you're very vulnerable when doing so, it typically isn't the best item as far as like fighting other players go. Whenever it comes into the loot pool, there are people that struggle against it, but any sort of mobility makes this item really easy to counter. So what a lot of people struggle with and what a lot of people do is they see the enemy in the animation and they decide, I'm going to eliminate this player before they get it off. And that can certainly work, especially in times where you already have the enemy weak and then they're going into it. But if you have a full HP enemy going into the Kamehameha and then you just start basically damage racing them to eliminate them before they get it off, sometimes it can go your way, sometimes it won't go your way. So the easiest way to avoid this item is just whenever you hear an enemy trying to use it, just use whatever mobility you have and reposition, and you can very easily avoid it. It has very limited like turning range, I guess. Like if you move quickly, it's hard for them to track you. And when the user is using it, their screen is all blue, so it's hard to see as well. And so yeah, all you really have to do, activate your base boost gloves, activate a dash, maybe use the surf cube. If you have the core medallion, sprint jump, and you can easily avoid the Kamehameha. What it is kind of best at, I think, is eliminating the spires. So both the large spires and the small spires will actually be destroyed incredibly quick by the Kamehameha. And this is really helpful if you find it off spawn and there's a spire in the area, because then you can eliminate that spire, get some hero points, and then hopefully get decent loot. Even if it's the small white spires, you have a pretty good chance of getting mobility from them. So using the Kamehameha to do that, you don't invest very much time and you get a decent amount of loot. And the large spires, you won't necessarily one-shot it with the Kamehameha, but you'll make it very weak to the point where you could easily clean it up afterwards and then get, you know, that loot and get an exotic weapon. So that's what I think they're best at. They can also be used to defeat the bosses. So like the Daigo and core bosses on the island. It seems like it works a bit better on Daigo, but it doesn't quite one-shot him. I didn't really get to try it that much today versus him. And I was able to eliminate core with it, but the way the core boss kind of jumps and teleports around, oftentimes by the time you start being able to damage her with it, she'll just teleport away. And it's not like the core boss is really that hard to defeat. I feel like the thing that matters most when dealing with core is the other players in the area. So I would rather just kind of be posted up, tapping her down with a Spire AR while being like somewhat protected, than really exposed going for the Kamehameha on her while other players are going to be like very motivated to eliminate me. So it can definitely work versus Daigo. It works really well versus the Spires, but I don't think it works that great versus core. And that is the, you know, Kamehameha added back to the loot pool. The Nimbus Cloud is not in BR. Both the Nimbus Cloud and the Kamehameha, I believe, are in Blitz mode, but I'm just talking about BR in this video. The Nimbus Cloud was not added back to Battle Royale for whatever reason. Another random change today is that Med Mist is back, but you can only get it from mending machines. It's not actually in the core loot pool. And then even then, today it seems like the mending machines are just completely random what items they have in them. So for shield, I was only getting big pots or minis. Previously, it was always big pots in the mending machines, but now you have a chance to get minis in there instead. And then, as I said, you have a chance to get the med mist instead of a med kit, and I believe even bandages instead of a med kit in your heal spawn. So not really sure why they changed this, but it's a very random change. Not the most impactful thing, but just know if you're like very reliant on mending machines that like there's a potential chance you end up not being able to get big pots and just get minis instead, which is kind of unfortunate. One change that I'm really happy with is they fixed the heals. So a few weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, my perception of time is quite bad at the moment. But a bit ago, they made it to where you couldn't use big pots or mini shields while you were in the air. And this made it to where you couldn't like jump into a slide and use them, or use them while using your base boost gloves to reposition. But that has been fixed and you can now drink your big pots while in air. So if that is something that was changing how you played or changing what heals you wanted to use, that problem has been solved and it is no longer an issue. The event for this season is going to be happening this Saturday, I believe at 2 p.m. Eastern time, but I haven't looked into the time that much. There is a countdown timer now above Demon's Domain. And as I said, that event is going to be happening on Saturday. You'll have to look at the time and convert it to whatever time zone you're in. And there's several large spires on the map now that have kind of moved around. There's some like mini map changes with this. Functionally, this doesn't change very much, but it's just like the scenery of the map has kind of changed a bit in today's update as more of the spires were added. And then the countdown timer is above Demon's Domain. There are leaks out there about what is going to happen in the event and, you know, what the map is going to look like afterwards. I'm not going to get into that because I know a lot of people don't like seeing event spoilers. But if you're, you know, if you do want to see that, it's out there. And then the final thing I'm going to talk about today is going to be the exotic hyperburst pistol. There was a bug that if you carried 2 of them, you would get the shockwave effect on every single burst. But that has been fixed, and now having 2 of these in your inventory doesn't do anything different. It is the first burst and the last burst of the magazine that activates the shockwave effect. Whether or not you have 1 or 2 in your inventory, doesn't matter. That bug was fixed. But that is going to be it for this video and this update. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Flash far behind him and beam him, but it just like returned. Fight sucks for me though. Okay, introduce. Because he had an outlaw shotgun, so I really don't want to be fighting just like barrel stuffing. He had outlaw fury. Sure, everybody's here. Those 2 are AI fighting, but the person that pulled up on the surf cube is real, and then the person driving that car is also real. Oh no, it was someone fighting the NPC. It was an AI fighting an NPC. But I don't know, like this person is just weird. Unless a no-no's on that roof or something. I'd imagine he gets in the car. Nice. I got him as the car hit me. We prevented him from becoming the storm beast though. Oh my gosh. Dude, his desperation to save his car completely griefed him. Because he blew the car up into a gas station, which blew him up even further. There's one. I think that was actually a human. The goat 313. Only scan the sprites. There he is. Oh, they're real. I did not intend to land in the water, but it works out. But yeah, you could just very easily avoid the Kamehameha with like any sort of mobility item. And then just kill them after.